with some good posture. So when you're ready, just step your feet under your hips, hands by your thighs, and your head up towards the ceiling. Let's get the right arm moving first, just some little shoulder circles. It's like you're waving. Waving goodbye to me, getting on an aeroplane. Feel the elbow just pulling back and down to the ribs. Try and for now, just hold that left shoulder back in position. Little tuck under at the bottom and a little bit of engagement through your core. And then you can start to bring some rotation through the back. Try not to let the hips twist, but do let your upper body turn. And a little glance, have a little glance. I'm going to stop talking soon. Over that right shoulder. Breathing as the arm lifts. And really feel that shoulder blade, again, pulling down into the back of your rib cage. Or one more circle. And then rest, come to the left. So keep the shoulders nice and square to the front first. So just purely working through the shoulder. And again, just bring your mind to the shoulder blade, pull it down into the back of the ribs. And at the same time, physically feel your elbows pulling right down towards the side of your rib cage. Then when you're ready, start to turn. Have a little glance over the shoulder. Breathing as you lift the arm. And feel the out breath as you pull that arm back and down. Breathing in through the nose. And let it go. And one more time. Last one, bring the hand down towards the thigh. From here, a little wrap. Turning to your right and then turning to your left. Now as we're wrapping, we're getting the rotation through the upper body, but we're keeping the hips still, so we're getting stability through the lower body. Then just let the arms relax. Twist your upper body to make the arms wrap around your waist. Relax the arms, let them swing. Nice and strong through the legs, so again, sitting into the heels. Soft through the knees. Big strong squeeze through the bottom. And two more each side. Try to go a little further if you can. Just starting to warm up the whole length of your spine. And then resting in the centre. Step the feet out a little bit wider. Turn your right foot to the side. Pull the left hip back. Starting to ease into our side bends. Push the hip over to the left. And pull the elbow up towards the ceiling. Slide the fingers down your thigh towards your toes. And as you slide your fingers down, push your hip across and almost trying to push it up a little towards the ceiling. That way you're going to start to get the stretch into the hamstrings as well. So I want to make sure that right foot is completely turned to the side. That way we get the hamstrings working more than the inner thighs. And then at the bottom, add a little reach. So letting the arm lift, reaching away and coming back into the centre. Breathe out as you push away through the fingers. Out with the lift and a gentle breath in. And two more. So that just helps to deepen the stretch a little bit further. And stay with the hamstrings, turn all 10 toes to the right this time. Push that left hip forward so the hips are nice and square. Clasp your hands, push your knuckles down to the heels, light squeeze between the shoulders and a little hinge forward. Now what we don't want to do is let the back round because we get quite low down then without feeling a hamstring stretch. As you pull the shoulders back and down and keep that strong engagement through the upper body, as soon as you then hinge forward, get a nice big stretch right down the back of your thigh. And again, feel like you're pushing the bottom away. So your hamstrings connect to your sit bones, bottom of your pelvis. So the more you push the pelvis back and almost lift it up away from the knee, again we're getting much deeper into the hamstrings straight away. Give me a couple more here. And your last one. Changing sides, so you're going to bring all 10 toes to the front, turn out with your left foot, so again the left foot direct to the side, pull the right hip back. When you're ready, down into your side bend. And again, just a nice, easy loosening movement to begin with. Breathing in as you ease down, and breathing out to pull back up. In through your nose, out through the mouth. Keep sliding the hip now across to the right. Almost try and push it up to the ceiling at the same time. And when you're ready to go a little bit deeper, reach down and then out. Try and keep the chest nice and open to the front. So we've always got that nice alignment through the upper body. And we'll keep that alignment through the upper body. Keeps the position, the joints in a better position. Just stretch into those deeper muscles. Once more. And then turning all 10 toes to the left. So the feet, both feet flat. About 1 metre apart. Clasp the hands. Roll the shoulders back and down. Lift the chest. And try and keep the feeling of pushing the chest up as you hinge forward. So the longer and flatter you keep the back, more stretch into those hips. You might notice your right hip starting to roll back, so you're trying to keep that hip bone in line with your toes, but the hips pushing forward. Push back with the bottom. Push the bottom up towards the ceiling. Breathe like a good hamstring stretch. Give me a couple more on this leg. And then into the centre. And turning the feet back to the front. This time I'm going to take the feet wider. Turn your feet out to a slight diagonal. Push your knees over your toes. Reaching to your right knee and then over to your left knee. So we're going to let the arms open and almost feel like they're wrapping again. The back arm wraps around your waist. It pulls the shoulder back and feel your weight shifting into your right leg and right back over to your left. Now try and stay low and come through the middle. So try not to rise, just let your weight shift from your right over to your left. Your knee pushing out towards that little toe. And maybe reach down towards the ankle now. Inside the ankle, inside the heel, or keep just coming across to the knee. Turn the body, look over your shoulder. And maybe let the hand reach a little further now to the outside of your heel. Once more over to the left, and then come into the centre. Big breath in and lift the arms. Bend both knees into the hips, halfway up, and then all the way up. Hips feel heavy, arms feel light. Breathing in, let your breath go. Keep pushing the knees out nice and wide towards your little toes. And that's going to start to get a little bit more work into your glutes, more stretch into the inner thighs. Give me 2 more. And your last one. Now from here, bend your knees a little. Tip forward from your hips. Bring the hands down to the ground. Turn your feet now, so both feet face forward. A little bit of rounding through the back to begin with, and you're going to gently push your heart forward and then let your chin tuck in. So for this position, you're just getting the feeling of lengthening, pushing your chest forward, and then drawing your belly to your spine. Breathe out as you push forward with the chest, and a little breath in to release. Out through the mouth, in through the nose. So each time you push the chest forward, you should feel a nice deep stretch down maybe the inner thighs or the hamstrings. Now you're going to hold here. Reach over to your right ankle, or just reach into the right hand side and trying to encourage your nose towards your knee, as if you're just looking past and looking over your shoulder. Keep easing to the centre and then over to the right hand side. As you're easing over to the right, keep pushing down into your left foot. A couple more on this side. And then change. So you're going to bring your right hand under your shoulder. Reach the left hand side or reach the ankle. And then take your nose towards your knee. Let it glance over that left shoulder. Breathing out each time as you twist. And keep pushing strongly down to the edge of both feet. That's going to help to get a much better stretch into that left leg. One more time. And then resting in the centre. Walk your hands forward. Bring your feet in so they're hip distance apart. And then ease your knees down onto the ground. More movement through the back next. So from here, once you're in box position, we're going to push the chest forward, lift the knees. pull the hips back so you're pressing your heels towards the ground, tucking your chin and take a little roll forward so your shoulders come over your wrists. Knees come down, hips pull back. Lift the knees, push the hips up. Tucking the chin, roll through the spine vertebrae by vertebrae, lengthen into plank position, bring the knees down, pull back to your hips. Let the knees lift, push the hips back and up, and then roll forward again. Tucking the chin, eye gaze down, knees down, hips pull back. So let's go with another 4 here. And the hamstring stretch here, push your bottom up to the ceiling. Then tuck the chin in, feel the movement through the spine, lengthening, lowering the knees, sitting back to the heels. Lifting the knees when you can, push the hips up, gentle, gentle, roll forwards, length, lower the knees, 2 more, breathe in. Breathe out as you push the hips back and up. Take a little breath in as you roll forwards. Eye gaze down to the ground, knees down to the ground. Sit back into your heels. Let the knees lift. Last time, hips up. Roll forward. Shoulders over the wrists. Eye gaze to floor, knees to floor, hips back to heels. Now keep the toes tucked under. And when you're ready, just bring your hands back, restep your spine, and then lift the chest. Roll the shoulders back and down. So you've got your toes tucked under, that's just helping to bring a little stretch into the feet. Right, hip flex and hamstrings next. So we're going to come up onto the knees, rest on the tops of your toes. Bring your left leg forward. It's a little sequence now. Square the hips so the hips are pointing towards the knees. Now breathe in, lift the arms. Let that back hip drop down to the floor so your pelvis feels heavy. Bring the hands behind your back. Clasp the hands. Push your knuckles back. Now straighten your front leg. Hinge forward from the hips. Lift the arms a little if you can. Bend that front knee, sweep the arms forward. Let the hips sink down to the ground. Push up through your fingertips. Clasp the hands. Set it properly that time. Push the knuckles to the heel and then straighten your front leg and tip forward. Let the toes lift. Pull your toes back to your shin. Breathe in, sink down to the hips. Bring the hands together. Lift the chest. Clasp the hands. Push the arms back and then push back off your heel and lift your toes. And again, breathe in, come forward, sink down to that back knee. Reach up to the ceiling, circle the arms back, push your knuckles down towards the heel, and then straighten that front leg. Try and pull your toes back to your shin. And again, one more time, breathe in to come forward. Out to lift the arms, drop down to the hips, lift your ribs, take the hands back, press the knuckles back, and then push the hips back, pulling your toes in. Hands now come down to the floor. Let the back round as much as you need to. And all you're going to do here is try and gently push the heart forward. Just like you're trying to lengthen, straighten up through the spine. And each time you gently push your chest forward towards the toes, you know it's a little bit more stretch into the hamstrings. Go with 3. This is just to warm them up. 2. And your last one, stay here and just now try and pull your toes back and point. Pull back and point. And as you pull your toes back, feeling more stretch into your calf, probably into your hamstrings too. Give me a couple more. Just helps loosen the ankles off. When you're ready, bring the leg back. Knees come under the hips. Just taking the weight off the knees, sit back into child's pose. Forearms come down to the ground. You're encouraging your hips to your heels and maybe trying to walk the hands forward. Press both hands down to the floor and take your right arm under your left and look underneath your left arm. And gently roll your right shoulder back. And then try and thread your left arm a little further through to get more rotation through the upper back. You feel the hips nicely anchoring back towards the heels. Then come into the centre, reach the arm forward, left arm forward, or right arm forward, sorry, and then left under right, or vice versa, because I've completely confused myself. Push the hand through, so you're trying to thread it through with your palm facing up towards the ceiling. Rolling that top shoulder back, so again it helps to open the chest and the shoulder more. Big breath into the upper body, and then breathe out, try and thread the arm a little further through. When you're ready, you're going to bring both hands back into the centre and bring your weight forward. This time it's your right leg that comes forward. Get the right way today. So into a little kneeling lunge. When you're ready, lift the chest. Anchor down to the front heel and lift the arms. Let the back hip drop through. Same sequence. Ribs stay high, arms pull back so it lifts and opens the chest. Press the knuckles back, straighten your front leg. Pushing the bottom back. Breathe in, sweep the arms forward, let the hips drop. Eye gaze can lift. Pull the hands back first. Squeeze the shoulder blades back and down. Push off your heel and almost pull your toes back to your shin. Find that hamstring stretch, and then again sweeping forward, breathing in, dropping down, lifting the eye gaze, pulling the shoulders back, open the chest, and then push back into the heel. Push the arms back and up if you can. That helps to deepen the hamstring stretch. Then breathing through the nose. Out, feel heavier. Breath in as the hands come back, and then your out breath to lift the arms and push back. Twice more. Breathing in. Feel your eye gaze, your rib cage lifts, your hips drop, hands come behind the back, push up the front heel, squeeze the shoulder blades together and feel how that really opens up your chest. One more time. Then you get to there, which is the hamstring part. The part we all really love. Squeeze the shoulders together and then push back with the arms and with the heels. Hands come down to the floor this time. So just moving back. Your back will round as you reach forward, and you're going to try and encourage length through the spine. As you're pushing the chest forward, try and keep that front leg nice and straight. And feel like you're just lifting the ribs up off the hips each time. Breathing out through the mouth each time as you push forward. And for 3, 2, last one, hold that little stretch. Now your foot, pull your toes in and point. Pull back and point. And again, you're rolling back onto the heel and trying to pull your big toe back towards your shin. And as you're moving that leg, you're trying not to let the knee bend. So a little squeeze to the front of your thigh. For 3, 2, and your last one. When you're ready, bring both knees back underneath your hips. You're going to take the feet a little bit wider this time, bring your big toes together, and then encourage the hips back to the heels. So you can get the elbows down to the floor this time. And maybe walking the hands a little further forward, keeping the hips sat right back into the heels. So you can almost use your hands to push your hips back. So you're pushing through the hands right back into the hips, pressing down to your fingertips. Big breath in, out breath, try and get the hips up closer to the heels if they're not there already. A little bit more work for the hamstrings we can do on our backs. So when you're ready, coming forwards, bring the knees in and then come onto your bottom when you're ready. So hopefully you have a strap to hand. If you haven't, don't worry, you can still stretch the hamstrings. Or maybe use an interesting hand belts if you have one of those as well. So as you lie back, resting the head. It's the most important part right now. Head and shoulders get to relax. Take your band around your right foot. Squeeze the front of your right thigh. So even if your leg is here or here, you want the leg to be straight. So push the heel away, roll the shoulders back and anchor the shoulders into the floor, and you're just going to try and pull that leg back with the band. Now, when you pull the leg back, naturally the pelvis probably wants to tilt and almost lift off the floor. So you're going to try and press your tailbone down to the ground now. So you notice that when you swing the leg back, the lower back isn't pressing into the floor. That's making sure the back and the pelvis stays still, and all the stretch can then stay into the hamstrings. 4, 3, 2, and hold. Take your left leg out straight. Keep your right leg straight, but take your band into your left hand. Gently bring the leg across your body, but try and keep your bottom pressed to the floor. It's not like we're doing when we bring the leg right across. We're trying to press the pelvis down and then ease the leg across the midline of your body. Pressing both shoulders and the hips down to the floor. That way we get much more stretch through the outer thigh and the hip. Breathe in when you're ready. Breathe out, maybe bring the leg a little closer, upwards towards the head. But still also trying to press your tailbone down into the ground. And we should feel that right around here. It's not particularly nice, but it's effective. And then when you're ready, come in to the centre. Bring your left knee in, bend the left knee, and let the left knee roll to about 5 past the hour. Then let your right leg come out to the side. So we're looking for a stretch now in the inner thigh. Press your left buttock into the floor at the same time. So we're trying to keep the pelvis still, because again the muscles attach to the pelvis. And the more you keep the pelvis in place, the more stretch we get into the correct muscles. Breathe in when you're ready. As you breathe out, you can let the leg feel a little heavier, maybe sinking it down to the floor. Again, that left knee's at a slight diagonal, so it just helps to counterbalance and keep the hips in a better position. And if you want, then you can just slide the leg up and down, just pulling it up slightly towards the head. So it just brings a little bit more movement into that inner thigh. 3, 2, 1. Use the band, pull the leg back into the centre. Now place both feet in your band. Holding the band, this time you're going to pull the legs back, but you're going to allow your bottom to lift off the floor. If the knees bend a little, it's fine, but let's feel that controlled roll through the spine. So you tilt your pelvis back, and you place each vertebrae down. And again, use the band to help control that movement. So you're letting the band go to release the legs, you're not just letting the legs fling back. Now again, think about placing each vertebrae down the ground as you bring the legs back. And again, use the band to control the legs, don't let the legs just roll away, ease down. And again, a couple more. So just nicely getting into that lower back. Let's do one more. And then we're going to stay with the left leg. So your right foot into the band, left foot on the floor. No, that's the wrong one. Your left foot in the band, sorry, and your right foot on the floor. Unless you want to stretch your right leg out twice. Press your tailbone onto the ground, anchor the shoulders, and to go that little swing backwards and forwards. And I say swing, but it's quite a controlled movement. We're thinking about keeping the hips anchored. So again, you don't want to keep letting the back move here, because then we can bring the leg a lot further without finding the hamstrings. Try and squeeze the front of the thigh. So you're encouraging as much length into the front of the leg as you can. And give me 4, 3, 2, and your 1. Holding in the middle. So again, hold onto your band. When you're ready, you want your right hand on your band, shoulders pressing into the floor. Take your right leg out straight. Gosh, I'm struggling today, sorry. Left leg, right leg's out straight, and your left leg is coming across your body. But you're also trying to push your left buttock down to the floor at the same time. So you try not to let the pelvis itself roll. The more we keep the pelvis still, the more the muscles attached to the pelvis get to stretch. Both shoulders anchored, ribs pressed down, chins tucked in. Try not to let the foot or the ankle roll in. So you're trying to make the ankle nice and straight. So it's almost like you're pushing away through the sole of your foot. and then maybe bring the leg a little lower. Breathing in right into the hip. Breathing out, letting it go further when you're ready. And then when you're ready, pull in the foot, bring it back into the centre. Take your band into your left hand. Bend your right knee and let the knee roll out to about 5 past the hour. Take the leg out to the side, so looking for stretching out in the inner thigh. Letting the weight of the leg sink to the floor. And at the same time, you're pushing your right buttock down into the ground. Started drilling as well next door. It's just what I need from my brain today. When you feel ready, you can swing that leg up and down just a little, just to encourage a little bit more movement into the hip. Not forcing it, but just feeling more stretch to the inner thigh. And go with 4, 3, 2, 1. Use the band, pull the leg back into the centre. Both feet back into the band. Squeeze it through the front of your thighs. Use the arms, pull back, and then use the arms to hold the band as you roll back through the spine. That way you can really start to encourage a lot more movement through the spine. Breathe out on the lift, and a breath in as you ease down. Now, as you lower the legs, keep the chin tucked in, so that helps to keep the neck aligned, and it's going to bring more stretch then into the spine, and it makes those roll downs a little bit harder. Give me a couple more. On your next one, when you come into the centre, you can use the band, pull up with the band, and up into seated and feet onto the ground. Put the band down to the side, both legs out straight, and let's go for our swim. Square the hips, and you're going to reach one arm forward and then the other. So this is starting to get into the lower back and the hamstrings again, but it's getting into the lower back from a slightly different angle. And we're also starting to get a bit more rotation now through the upper body. So physically turn your chest from your right to your left, trying to slide your fingers towards or past your feet. Couple more each side. And then this time, as you reach forward, take a hold of your left foot. Bring your left foot back towards the inner thigh, so I'll just change positions, makes it easier for everybody. So left foot to the inner thigh, and then rock across to your left knee. Press the knee down, and then try and pull your right hip back. So again, rock across, and then pull the hip back. So again, get into the hips from a slightly different angle. Once your knee's down, try and push your hip bone back into the ground. And again, hold it, and then press back. And once more, and hold. From there, reach your right hand forward. Your left arm reaches back. I'm going to write on my hands soon. Pull the shoulder back, and then when you're ready, a big clap, so you bring your hands together, and then pull in your shoulder back. Breathe out through the mouth every time you pull the arm and the shoulder back, and let your nose follow your thumb. Breathe out through the mouth, opening the front of the shoulder and the chest. Now as you're moving the upper body and the arm, you're trying to keep length in the spine still, so it allows the back to rotate a lot easier. The next time you reach the arm back, hold it, let the arm come over the head as if you're trying to frame your face. You can try and tuck the right ear, press the hips down to the floor, roll the elbow and the shoulder back, and then when you're ready, come back into the centre. Bring both legs forward again. This time both arms come up and over, reaching forward, and then rolling back up through the spine. Drawing your belly towards your back, tucking in your chin. Again, feeling the movement all the way through the spine. Breathe in to reach forward. Breathe out to pull back. Try and get the arms a little further now. So as the back and the hamstrings get a little looser, hopefully the movement gets a little bigger. And once more. Taking your right foot this time, pull the right foot back in, tuck the foot into the thigh, lean over to the right, and then pull the left hip back. And again, press the knee down to the floor, and then push back with that left hip. So feel your weight in your right knee, and your left hip trying to anchor back down this time just keep the hips anchored, reach the inside of your left foot, right arm reaches back, open the arms, open your chest, and then rotate. And as you're rotating, trying to get that chest nice and open, letting the head turn with the arm. Feel the shoulder blade pulling back in towards the spine. Again, use the out breath. Breathe in through the nose. And again. 4, 3, 2, and hold. Reach up to the ceiling and then reach over like you're trying to get your ear on the other side or frame your face. Press the hips down into the ground. Feel the side bend, the C shape coming through your spine. And keep trying to push down to your hips so you get that stretch into your lower back at the same time. Ease into the centre when you're ready. Come back over onto your hands and your knees. Hands back under the shoulders and knees back underneath the hips. Cat stretch, lift the belly up. Eye gaze towards your thighs. Pull the hips towards the heels. Keep that cat stretch position and then scoop your chest forward and lift. And again, draw the belly up, push the hips back, and then scoop forward and lift. Breathe in, out to push back. Take a breath in, come forwards. And again, lift the belly, back with the hips, and scoop in with your chest. And now try and make it an endless movement. No beginning, no end, just feel the spine rounding. And 2 more. So we'll work out the shoulders as well. And then this time, as you come into the centre, stay here and thread your right arm underneath your left. And as you're pulling the right arm back, pull the shoulder blade back. So we want to be opening the chest. Keep pressing down for your left hand, so that helps to stabilise the shoulders. And then try and get much more rotation through that upper back now. Little tuck with the tailbones, we're trying to keep the hips still. 1 more time, and change hands. When you finish that last one, take the left arm under. Now trying to keep the back aligned, so you don't want the head to drop down to the floor. Keeping that length from your tailbone to the top of the head. So again, the spine's in the best position for that rotation. Feel the shoulder blade pulling back into the ribs. And again, that's going to help to stretch the front of the shoulder much more. Once more here, and then both hands down onto the ground. Tuck under with your tailbone, push back into your heels and lift the knees. Lift the hips. Weight even in both of your hands, and just walk with your feet now. So lifting one heel, then the other. Now as you're doing this, try not to let the hips rock from side to side, and try and really press the heel down to the floor so get a nice deep stretch into the hamstrings. Knee coming forward towards the chest, and then this time lift both of your heels. Lift them up and press them down. Lift the toes if you can, then lift the heels again. Press back into the heels, lift your toes. Breathe out with a lift. Breath in as you sit back. Out through your mouth, in through your nose. And a couple more. Push the bottom back and up. And 1 more time. Bend both knees. Step the feet in. Bring them into the hips, fingers by your toes, belly towards the spine. Chin into chest. And try and give the back of your legs a little hug. If you can't, it's fine. You might want to just let the elbows rest on your thighs. Or again, as you let the hands hug the back of your thighs, it's like you're pulling your chest gently down towards the thighs. Keep the chin tucked in, so again it's the crown of the head that's hanging towards the floor. Nice big breath into the upper back. Out breath and sink in. And again, big breath in. And let it go. And when you're ready, fingers to the floor, chin tucked in, and tailbone tucks under, and just restacking your spine. Nice and gently rolling through the back, drawing the belly in, restacking your upper back, lifting the head, rolling the shoulders back and down, Anchor into the heels and just take your wrap again from side to side. Relax the arms, let them just swing. So as you turn your upper body, that's making the arms swing from side to side. But watch the knees and the hips, but don't then start rotating. Just setting concrete from your hips and below. Use the out breath to let the arms swing. And once more, each side. And then resting in the centre. Back to the big shoulder circles. Keep the chest nice and open, like a big wave goodbye. And again, pull the elbows back and down into your ribcage. Give me 2 more circles. And then once more, hands down by your thighs. Just take a little side bend from side to side, just letting some movement come back into your spine. Ear towards the shoulder, fingers towards the knees. Might shake my brain up a little and wake it up. And after this one, once more each way. And then you get to rest in the middle. Give the shoulders a nice big lift and let them release. And again, breathe in and releasing. And once more. And there we go. Give yourselves a clap, ladies and gents. Apologies for my lack of vocabulary today. I'm struggling the words today.